with housing, it's not one front line, it's not one issue. It's the whole rotten system that is broken, and that's what we need, is system change to actually rebalance things in favour of tenants and residents.
When it comes to housing associations, it's about commercialisation, it's about financialisation, and it's using the tenants and the residents to raise funds they can use on the markets.
Now, whether in social housing or private rented housing, tenants need to unite to ensure that our rights to decent and dignified and affordable housing isn't put secondary to profit.
On top of the increases in council tax, energy prices and food, I am also receiving a substantial increase in rent and service charges from a landlord which prides itself on being a charitable organisation. Ha, what a joke. Meanwhile, my wages have not increased enough to cover all of these costs. Our CEO, Claire Miller, who earns $343,000 plus per year, loves to show off about what a grand job she is doing in looking after her tenants. She's such a great liar, it has to be commended. I'm here to demand a rent freeze and an end to rip-off service charges.
These organisations have become just like any other corporate landlord. The G15 group of housing associations want the government to commit to a 30-year plan of increasing rents by 1% more than inflation each year. So they have declared war, in reality, on tenants. And by the way, all the big London associations have gone for the 4.1%, the maximum they're legally allowed to. We need a movement to take housing associations back as public housing and run them to provide housing for need.
Housing associations were subsidised for decades by local authorities on improvements. They bought these properties for nothing, and now, you know, you think it's been years and years of people paying their rents. We bought those houses, and now you're seeing housing associations wanting to sell them off. And particularly in London, you know, the street properties, they want to sell them off.
The main culprit in our borough has been Peabody, and each year they sell off around 13, 15 homes in a borough with 14,000 households on the housing waiting list. So that, you know, alone shows the mentality of the management in these housing associations.
With the help of SHAC, I went individually on a service charge strike and informed them last week. I informed one housing group that I was going on a service charge strike, not paying the increment, unless they tell me what justifies a 60% increase in this day and age, and with non-repairs happening throughout.
We've got to get this into the public domain. I looked at a list of all the things that are going up on the Daily Mail front page, and guess what? Rent wasn't there. Rent wasn't there because the establishment newspapers are actually there for the landlords. They're not there for us.
We've been sold shared ownership, obviously, as a way of getting on property ladder, which only after I realized is just nothing but a short tenancy. Obviously, the rent is going up every year, conveniently. It's inbuilt in our contracts. We were obviously not aware that we got ourselves into the contract, which only serves the housing association, which is not a charity. It serves the developers, but it doesn't really serve the people who saved for quite a long time to be able to sort of put together the deposits. Many of us are actually key workers working for the NHS, and we already know that if we stop working, we have to start packing.
And they've now got the proposed service charges for 22-23, which are absolutely horrific. I live in a small Victorian property with 3 flats in it. We're being charged for bulk waste removal, graffiti, pests, or all sorts of things. 3 different elements to do with fire risk assessment. They have ignored my emails and just respond with telling me I'm in arrears, and I write back to them saying I am not in rent arrears, I am not paying the service charges for which you cannot provide the actual bills.
We organised our TA 2.5 years ago, and since then I've been ordered. I've been given a tenancy caution, a gagging order, there's an alert on my address, and I've been threatened with eviction at least half a dozen times. And this is an estate where there's mould and mildew all over communal areas, where there's leaks in half the flats, where windows don't shut properly. It's a slum. And because we organise the fight back, they take it personally. They don't like to be criticised, they don't like their competence criticised, and they attack you as individuals. We do need new regulation. We need the Housing Ombudsman to actually get his acting gear. We've been to them, we've won cases with them, and they fine £100. £100. An organisation that's got 263 million in the bank, they fine them £100. It's ridiculous. We need the Housing Ombudsman to get its act together. We need local authorities to come outside. Our local authority, Greenwich, PA Housing, are its preferred provider. We go to them continually and we say, look, you know, you made a planning condition to put this in our building, they haven't done it. Oh yeah, well we're talking about it, they refuse to take action. You know, we need, Greenwich is supposed to be a Labour local authority, and they take no action to support us.
One of our resident board members had been voted by a lot of residents by a majority to the other people that went for the post several years ago, and he was gagged and thrown off the board just a month after he'd been voted on. So our resident forum was set afloat because they didn't like what we were saying. So rather than being allowed to attend board meetings and be informed at our meetings, have board members attend, being funded and having a place to have our meetings, they set up another group. And I know this has happened in other places like One Housing. And they set up another group and we were just set afloat. And I think it's 3 years later, it might even be more now, I can't remember because of COVID. But we're still going in small numbers, but with the help of SHAC, which have been fantastic, we're still going, and we're going to keep campaigning.
Housing is a human right. Here to stay, here to fight. Housing is a human right. Here to stay, here to fight. Whose homes? Our homes. Whose homes? Our homes. Whose homes? Our homes. Yay! There you go.
Follow the lead.
You tell him, I know.
There's nobody here. No. Is there a post box? I can't even see a post box.
I don't think there's a post box big enough to get this.
I think they saw us and locked us.
No filming, please.
Hiya, sorry, we're not going to be long anyway. All we want to do is just to have these delivered up to Michael Gove's office, if you wouldn't mind, please.
That's the thing, we're not allowed to take anything on behalf of anyone.
So where would we put it in to get it taken up to Michael Gove?
You will have to somehow get in touch with his private office.
So if like me as a citizen...
If you want to post it, you can post it through Royal Mail to the Home Office, and then you get delivered to our mail room, and they will probably deliver it. But you have to post it through a registered courier service. We're not allowed to take anything from anyone, unfortunately.
All right. Well, what we'll do is we'll post these placards to Michael Gove.
That's the best way, unfortunately.
I'm sure he'd appreciate them.
Yeah, sure. Because if you leave it, I can't guarantee it's going to get to him.
Okay. Well, thank you for your help.
Cheers. Thank you, guys. Sorry about that.
All right.
Cheers.
Okay.